Hello. Hi fam, how are we? I can't even lie. My heart is doing like this. Hey family. How many of us have been waiting for 8 p.m.? Like my mama is here. How are we all doing? Hope we've had a great day. It's been from one level of anticipation to another. I've called all my family members to pray for me this evening. Hi Danzingi. Hey everyone. Guys, Mama SD, Stella Damasus, is already in here. So we're going to get right to it because this is going to be a pretty interesting, beautiful conversation. My spirit is already lit. Just in anticipation of how today will go. And I'm certain it's going to be a beautiful time. I see the numbers. I'm glad you all have been anticipating. So just to say hi and hello, I'm going to bring her up right away. But hope we're okay. Are we doing well? How are you? Share your expectations or anticipations for this evening as well. I'd love to read that. Okay? Okay. So, let's do it! Let's do it! I'm trying to get her in. You already know who this is, right? So, should I do any preambles or any introductions? She's, she's, she's here!
Hi.
Hey, Mama.
How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Very well, very well. Good. Thank you.
Everybody here knows Stella Damasus. I've been watching Stella Damasus since I was in that would be maybe early secondary school or earlier. I'm 35, so it depends. I'm going on 36, so I mean, but all the way when we're watching Dangerous Twins, watching Submission,
Yes.
watching all the love story with RMD, and we had high hopes, And of course, we all know she's a veteran Nollywood actor, a singer, because you started with music, and of course, then into acting with a graduate of theater, right?
Yes.
You went to Unilag.
Yes. It's Unilag.
And now she, of course, has graced our TV. She still does that. She's not based in Nigeria now, but she's still this person. If you follow SD, you would know that this is her life. Media is her life. Doesn't matter where she's. No matter where you go, the road will bring her back to the media. And so she's doing music. She just released a book.
Yep.
I'm wondering if we should share that now or do that later. No, let's do it now.
About
yes,
it
there it is. We'll talk about it later, and of course, how it got there. But there you go. That's it. And of course, you're going to be hearing more about that. But yes, this is it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much and let me just share a quick brief. So it's interesting. I know I've told you this, but everybody here should get to know about it. I remember when I was thinking of my guest this was for February. You just came to mind. It came from my core. And so I was just going to take my chance and say, you know what, let me just put this out. It was just Stella Damasus. I'm like, It wasn't like an audible voice, but my spiritual, And I'm like, I'm going to reach out to her and just get her to come inspire us and share her story. Most of you here already know, and for, of course, people who are coming from your page, welcome. This is I Overcame, and the idea behind I Overcame is just to be able to get people who we look up to, and sometimes people that we do not even know, but who have stories about their walk through life that we can relate to, share about dark seasons in their life and how they could overcome those dark seasons, just so we are encouraged and people have hope and people believe that it doesn't end where they are. It doesn't end in the dark season. People can get out of the dark season. And so again, thank you so much for doing this. That's all I can say, for offering to share your dark seasons with us. Because is a certain level of vulnerability, honestly. So thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you once again.
Thank you for having me.
So let's go back to the beginning. Just a brief about you growing up, life before the gangs started to happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before I start, let me just say thank you to my friend, Thelma Bajawa. She's here. Ryan, and the others who have joined. I know they are busy, but they are here supporting me.
Thank you.
I mean, in a nutshell, to summarize, I am from Asaba, Delta State. That's where my father's from. My mother's from Owerri. I lived with my parents. I was born and raised in Benin City, Edo State, and then we moved to Asaba. And then I got into secondary school. And then when I was leaving secondary school, I knew that I wanted something different. My father wanted me to do sciences. So he put me in courses with sciences and even registered me for GC and JAM to do science courses. But the stubborn Stella that I am, I paid, because I started working very early. I started selling hampers. So I raised money and I paid for GC and JAM again for myself for art courses. So I did art courses. I didn't do what my father asked me to do. And of course, in that time, it caused wahala for me. I did my science courses. They were still fighting me. They succeeded in forcing me to do that. So my father said, if you don't do sciences, at least do law. You know, at that time, entertainment wasn't something that parents wanted their girls to be in, you know. So they said, do law. And I did a diploma in business and industrial law. But after my diploma, I said, this is not for me. I want to do what I want to do. So I left, went to Benin City, and I actually was in Uniben when I started my theater arts course, but it wasn't the place for me. As I was growing up, I wanted something different. So I came back to Lagos and went to Unilag to do my theater arts course, and then got into the industry by accident. And my father nearly lost, like he nearly pulled out his hair. My parents were like, what? This industry that will make you go out at night, that will make you be, men will be touching you and they'll be doing all sorts on TV for the world to see, God forbid.
I know.
So my family fought me because they wanted the best for me. But at that time, I'm like, you don't understand what I'm doing. Just give me time. Give me time. And if
How old were you?
When I got into the industry, I was 15. Yes, I was 15.
Wow.
So a lot of people think that I'm much older than I am. I'm not. I just started very early. I started when I was 15.
True.
So I'm just what, 10 years older than you. So when you were in school, so you were in school, you saw me acting, you probably then think, this auntie, Nala, I was a little girl.
Telling you.
You know.
Oh goodness,
so
yes.
I told my family to give me a few years, and if I messed it up, I would leave everything and go back to studying law. But if I make something out of it, they should support me. And by God's grace, I made something out of my career. They saw it. They got happy. People were even complimenting them. Oh, you're Stella's sister, you're Stella's father, you're Stella's mom. And they were doing favors for them and things like that. And they finally said, okay, if this is what you want to do and you want to make a career out of it, as long as you make sure that you do it the right way. You know, your integrity is important to our family. You know, your reputation is important to our family. Do it the right way. You graduate school, you have a family of your own. Just do it the right way. Then we'll give you 100% support. So that's how it's been for me. And I got into the industry full blast, and the rest is history.
Here you are. The rest is history, and you're still in that industry.
Yeah.
So let's go to how you met Jaiye. Let's begin with that.
Yeah.
I know this is a very special story. So let's begin from there.
So I met my late husband, Jaiye, in the course of my family fighting me.
Oh, okay.
Because of the industry. So that's the period of time I met him. And then I was staying with a family, a large number, in a BQ. I was sleeping on the floor.
Oh,
because
wow.
My family had said, until we know that you are in your right senses. Yeah. And it was that period that I met him. I had attended an industry meeting for the first time. And he was there. I think that was his first time as well, because he was a singer, he was a musician. But he wanted to come into the industry just to see how it was. So we met, and people were talking and arguing, but for some reason, he was just different. And when he would speak, I would listen to him. I'm like, there's something about this guy that's different. It's not your regular person that you see around places like this. And then we got talking and all that. We said, oh, we'll catch up the following week or something. And a year later was the next time I would see him. I didn't see him the following week. I didn't see him again until 1 full year later, when I went to a place called Jazzville. A lot of young people will know Jazzville. It's a place that we used to go every weekend in Yaba to just chill with pepper soup, suya, live band. And he was right there on stage with his family. I'm like, what's he doing here? You know, and then we got talking again. And then he was in Unilag studying French. And I was still sleeping in a BQ on the floor. And we would
so many people.
And we became good friends, and we would go to Unilag together. He would pick me up. He had this tiny car that time. We called the car Old Faithful. And,
oh, wow.
And that's where our relationship started. And Jay was the most amazing human. I mean, I don't like it. It was crazy for me to think that a human like that would last in this wicked world. Yeah. Thinking about it now, if I was God, I wouldn't let him stay in this wicked world, because for me, that man was an angel. That man was an angel. I don't have the right words to describe the kind of heart he had, the kind of energy he brought, you know, the kind of love he spread, you know. So anyway, that's how we met, and we had our beautiful love story, and that was it. Yeah.
So one day, of course, we all got it. I was, of course, pretty young, but I remember that news broke out because you were a celeb at the time. And we hear that Stella Damasus had lost her husband, and he went to play b-ball.
Yeah.
And slumped. This was something that was unexpected.
Yeah. Very.
Can you walk us through that day for us, like how the news came to you?
Yeah. It was funny because the Thursday before the day he passed, he just called me into the bedroom, which is very weird. And for some reason I was standing. I couldn't even sit down. I was cold.
Wow.
And he was just talking to me about life. He was just talking to me about things I needed to know, how to handle certain things that he was responsible for. And I'm looking at this man and I'm wondering, why are you saying these things to me? These are things that you normally do. Why are you saying these things? You know, I was standing there and we were just laughing and talking, but for some reason I couldn't sit down. I stood there and I was like this, and I was listening. I just felt very weird that day. And then after the conversation, he said to me, so the day he died, the day before that day that he passed, he said to me, you know what? Let's go out. Let's take our friends out. Let's go have, you know, a celebration. I'm like, well, we're not celebrating anything. He said, but you know me, this is how I am. I just want people to be happy. Let's just go out. Just invite 3 of your friends. I'll invite 3 of mine. Let's take our friends out, you know. I said, okay. So the morning of that day, I was going to Unilag, and then from there I had a meeting. So he was supposed to go somewhere for a meeting and then go play basketball. And then we were supposed to meet up at home, get ready, and go out for the night. So on my way to my meeting, because I was driving that day, the driver had gone somewhere else. So I had to drive myself that day. So on my way to my meeting, my car started acting up. And I called him. I didn't know that was my last conversation with my husband. I called him and I said, hey, Jay, my car is giving me issues, so I don't know what to do. And he said, okay, do you think it can take you to where you're going? I said, yes, I believe it will take me there. So he said, when you get to Unilag, park the car, finish what you have to do, and just hire a cab to take you everywhere and bring you back home. I'll send the mechanic to pick the car up and fix it. So I said, okay. So I went for my meeting. went to Unilag, went for my meeting, left the car, and then I was there in the meeting, and Benna came. Benna is my in-law.
Okay.
She came to join me because she was always with me. She came to join me at the meeting, and then all of a sudden, my phone rang, and I picked up my phone, and it was one of his friends, because he had a lot of Lebanese friends too. So one of his friends who was Lebanese called me, and he doesn't call me. He never calls me. He's always calling Jay. And I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? And he says, Stella, you have to come right now. I'm like, I don't understand. What's going on? You just have to come. Jay needs you. I'm like, where does he need me? What's going on? He said, oh, we're just playing basketball. And he fainted. That's what he told me. He fainted. I said, fainted how? Wow. Okay, I'm coming. The same car that was giving me problem that mechanic was supposed to come and pick. I didn't even care whether it was bad or not. I got into my car, Benna and we started driving down to where he told me to come, Ikoyi. So I was driving from Yaba to Ikoyi. I was driving like a mad person. Like I was driving like mad. They told me he had fainted, but my heart was already beating because I felt something was off. We drove to the address that they sent. Asked a lot of questions, got there. As soon as we came down, I saw a ton of people. When I say plenty people, some of them dressed in sportswear, some of them were just random people. Then I started recognizing some people that were close to us. I saw his cousin. I saw his Lebanese friends. Some of them were downstairs. And one of his friends saw me and just ducked beside the car. As I was walking closer to the door, people were just removing their faces. Then it's as if my heart just stopped for a second. Then I went upstairs. Benna and I went upstairs. They told me to go into the doctor's room. I got into the doctor's room and I saw his two close friends, two Lebanese guys, and then another guy. And I saw Kate Henshaw, my friend. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? Where is my husband? He said he fainted. And the doctor looked at me and said, I'm sorry. There's nothing we could do. We lost him. Hey, God have mercy. I don't know if I thought the man's lab coat. I don't know. And I grabbed him. I'm like, this has to be a joke. You cannot tell me that. I don't even want to hear it. He's 33. I'm 26. We have 2 children. So you better wake him up. You better wake him up. I looked around me. I'm like, what are all these people doing here? It's not possible that they're all here because they heard. So apparently he had slumped after the game. And this was after I later found out that our doctor had seen him. Our doctor was going from the island to the mainland and called him, say, hey, guy, where are you? How far? Because we're friends with our doctor. And he says, oh, I'm here at the lagoon. And my doctor went to see him. They had a conversation, they talked, and my doctor left. So apparently he played the game after that. And when they had finished the game, on his way to the car, according to them, they said he slumped. And they tried to take him. So all the people who were around, who were playing the game, plus the people who were around the lagoon, plus those that they had called, something just happened to Jay, because everybody knew Jay.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody knew and loved Jay.
Yeah.
So they were calling themselves Jay just fell, Jay just slumped.
Yeah.
And that's why they were all there. They all got there before me. And I could not take it. My mother came, because my mother was in town. She was in my sister's house. My mother came, my sisters came, and the more family members were coming, the more I was like, is this?
For it's real.
So my brother-in-law came, held my hand and said, you have to go see him. So I promised I wasn't going to cry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
so sorry.
It's fine. So they said I had to go see him, and I went downstairs. And he looked like he was sleeping. And I was just holding him. I'm like, you have to come back. This is not what we said. This was not the plan. This was not. No, it's not. If anybody would die, it can't be you. It should be me. It can't be you. You are too good. You know. But and after the chaos and all that, and then Kate Henshaw, God will continue to bless her.
Amen.
Kate took me to her house, and apparently I was sedated because I was already
wow.
I was already lost. Wow. Like it's not, you know. But that day, I would never forget. I would never forget because I wasn't the only one who lost. The world lost a great man, you know.
And it's so clear that you're still connected to. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I literally wish I could hand you over the tissue myself. Honestly.
It's okay.
And
it's okay.
It's like I said, it's clear. And I remember that when we spoke 2 nights ago, I asked the question. It was one of the first questions I asked you. Do you feel like you ever got over Jay?
No.
You know, and you know, it's clear.
You can't. He's not the kind of person that you get over. You don't even get over the death of a loved one. I didn't realize that.
Truth.
I did not realize, in all honesty, God is my witness, I didn't realize that I didn't process it for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
It took me 11 years to process it, and I thought I had, but which is one of the reasons why I do what I do for women and why I wrote the book that I wrote, because widowhood practices in Africa I can't even bring myself to tell you how the battles that you face when you lose your husband doesn't even give you time to grieve, to focus on what's in front of you, because you're struggling to survive. You're struggling to take care of your children. And in that process, I was labeled the Merry Widow. She started working. It didn't reach 1 year. She started working like they would feed my children.
They do not understand.
They don't understand.
You have kids to feed. You have to get back to life.
Too. And I was just 26. I was in a state of wake up every day. My children have to eat. My children have to go to school. I cannot allow them to feel that impact that, that is gone and our lives must change. We can't go to the school we're going to. We can't live the life we're living. I was struggling to be sure that everything was okay. So I did not realize that in doing that, I hadn't processed the fact that everything I was doing from then was clockwork. I have to do this. I have to accept this. I have to be here. I was like a machine. It took me 11 years. And the reason why I realized it was because when we moved to America, I was at a church and they told me, to join a group. And the only group that was available, the only place that had space was grief counseling group. So they sent me to go and understudy the grief counselor in church so that she can have breaks and I can take over teaching.
You would be the counselor.
I sat down and understudied her, and when everybody was talking about their grief and their losses, she looked at me and she said, I wonder why you joined this group. I said it was the only group available. And she was like, did you lose anybody? Have you lost anybody? I said, yeah, my husband. And she was like, why are you here to understudy me? Why are you not here to receive counseling? I said, because it's been 11 years. She said, 11 years. Oh, okay, because the other people there, it was like a few months, a year. But mine was 11 years. So I told her 11 years, so it's fast. She said, okay, then it's okay to talk about it. I said, of course. When I started talking about it, I don't think that even when it happened, the way I cried, that day after 11 years, the way I broke, it was worse than the day it happened. And the woman looked at me and said, oh, my sweetheart, you have not grieved. You have not processed what has happened to you. I said, but it's been 11 years. She said, you're just starting your healing now. So that most of the things that happened to me, choices that I made, a lot of things that I did, I was acting like a robot, survivor. How do I survive? How do I move forward? How do I make sure my kids are okay? How do I make
And then people think, I feel like it's important to stay on this for a bit. I'm sorry. When people think that you moved on too fast, they do not get it. You know, that it's your way of dealing.
It's my way. So it wasn't, I wasn't processing or healing at that time. It was my way of surviving. It was my coping. It was my coping
mechanism.
Yeah. It was my coping mechanism. And when people would write stuff about me and say stuff about me.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Yes, especially that you were in the spotlight. You know, it's easy to cast aspersions and draw conclusions. I thought, just preparing for this, I saw that, so you're dealing with having to fend for your kids, yourself, still have a life, ensure that you were being both father and mother, because
and at that time,
I'm sure if I speak to the girl,
trust me,
yes.
At that time, before he passed, was the time that they did this ban in Nollywood, where they banned 10 of us. 5 females, 5 men.
Oh,
so,
oh my goodness.
I had about 800 naira in my account at that time, because I was married to Jaiye. Whether I had work or not was not even an issue.
Good.
I was okay. You give me work, you don't give me work there. I was working in Jaiye's company, and he was giving me an allowance. But everything that had to do with bills or food or spending money,
family,
he was taking care of me. And I didn't learn. I married him when I was 21, so I didn't learn all these things. Goodness. I didn't know all these things. I was so young and married him at 21, spending 5 years with him, and because we dated for like about 2 years before I married him, because I had to be an adult to get married. So I was so young that I didn't understand all of this.
How old were your kids at the time?
Isabel was 5. My first daughter was 5. My second was 2. So my second daughter has a very vague memory of him. So what I did was, over the years, I would play videos of him, play his music and his audio, so she doesn't forget. My first daughter is the one who remembers him, who knows him, and who. So me and her talk more about him and what he did, what he represents, and how she's just like him.
Oh wow! Wow! Because I see that during memorials, you all post about him. He's still in your lives. That's both you and the kids, like for the girls. I see, that they share about him. I truly want to stay on this, but I'm looking at time and I'm like, where is he going? Now, I know that even at the time you had to walk with God. How was that at that time? Most of the time when we go through a dark season, the feeling of betrayal, that we feel like God has betrayed us, is one thing that I know a lot of us have to deal with. From that perspective, how was this for you?
When it happened, I just felt like God and I were not walking in the same universe. my relationship with him at that point was like hanging on a thread. Because I'm like, how do you let this happen? Why? What did I do? Like, why me? How? Why him? Like, why would you take him? You were there when we had all these plans. We prayed to you. We talked about our future together with you. How do you just cut it short? Where do you want me to start from? And I was at that point where I would like, but you know what? When I talk about support system every time, people don't understand why I say support system most times better than friends. I'm telling you, it sounds weird. It sounds crazy.
Right.
But they'll be friends. They'll come and go.
Yes.
They will be there for good times and all of that. But when you have, when I say support system, Your support system is even there for you more when you have bad times than good times.
True that.
They're the
I
ones
can relate.
that,
True.
yeah, at any point in time,
True.
they will abandon themselves and their lives and come to you. My support system then, Kate and Michelle again, Benna.
Aww, God bless you.
My sisters, my mom. When I start shouting in the middle of the night, because all of them would leave their homes and come and sleep in the house with me.
Oh my goodness.
Some on the floor, some on the bed with me. My mom right by my side.
Wow.
Sometimes she doesn't sleep. She watches me whilst I jolt up in the middle of the night. Kate will leave her home and come, bring food, bring this and that, stay from morning till almost midnight. Every day. Every day. What they did was make sure that when I shout and start saying, God, why did you, why? When I start pulling out my hair, they're like, no, you can't blame God. No, you can't. I remember vividly one day, I was just in the living room. One morning, it was a Sunday, Kate just came. Bole, that's what she called me. Bole, oh yeah, wear clothes. We are going to church. I said, me, church. Which church? So you're coming to my church with me. I will take you to a church. That was a church. She used to go there. I don't think she goes there anymore. I think the pastor was Samamaga or something. We're going to We're going to pray together. We're going to. She grabbed me. I refused. She said no. She dragged me. We went. She held my hand. And after the church service, she took me to pastor's office to meet his wife. And they prayed over me. After that day, it was as if God was just saying, you can't run from me. So he was sending different pastors.
Wow.
There was a particular lady that came. I had never met her before. This pastor's wife, she came, sat in my living room and was just looking at me. She didn't say a word. I was wondering, what kind of human being is this? After sitting down for about 2 hours, she got up, put an envelope in my hand. I said, God bless you. I'll be back tomorrow. She left. I opened the envelope. Money. And at that time, my landlord was about to kick me out because Jay was in the process of buying a house. We hadn't gotten around to that. And we were about to be kicked out. He didn't care whether her husband died or I'm alone or with that one, didn't care. The woman just put money in my hand and said, ask your landlord to. I said, how did you know? She said, I don't know. But Holy Spirit said I should come to you. I looked at God. I said, you are such a joker.
Yes, you're trying to win me back. Like, what are you? You're with me or what?
I'm yet trying to fight you. You are here sending people to shower me with love. What's wrong with you?
Do you get?
All I had, my children, my support system, and this God. So me going on survival mode, me going through what I went through, moving finally from that house to another. In fact, the way I got my next house, it just had to be God, because I was, when they say miracle not the tire Jesus. When you make God your husband, your father, your friend, your everything, just watch him and see what, because I cannot explain how I went from 800 naira to be able to get another home for my girls and I, and they still remained in their private school that they were going to.
So all the fears, it's almost like all the concerns, somehow he took care of. Of course, besides the fact of losing the love of your life, I mean the physical concerns of, now what do you want me to do with my life? You didn't prepare me for this. He sorted it out.
Some of the people along my journey that God sent, after they did what they did for me, I didn't see them again. They were like spirits, like angels that would come in, do something, and they're done.
Vanish. Hey, teach me to trust. This is, dear God, teach me how to trust you. But let me ask, because I know there are other parts of your life that we're going to touch on. But this is, I mean, honestly, if this is all we speak about today, I'm fine. Because there's a lot to get out of this.
Yeah.
Did you ever get some sense of closure? So I know that, of course, God meeting the needs was good, but closure has its place. Did you ever feel like God in some way brought you to the place of some level of closure?
I don't know that I would call it closure, but I started understanding certain things about...
Okay, like the why?
Like, I may not understand why God allowed it, but I can tell you for a fact that after it happened, after I went through my process, I can tell you that God used him to teach me something.
Okay.
People who were impacted, people who knew him, God used him to teach us something, because when a man passes, when someone dies, all that is left of that person are stories, are memories. So what kind of story will be told about you when you're not here anymore? When someone passes and people mention that person's name or talk about the person, how does it make people feel at that time? Like, still having that, oh God, I remember that day. Like, I hear people talk about my late husband, and in my head I'm like, but you are not even married to him, you are not in the same... Why are you feeling this much impact? But they do. But they do. And God used that also to teach me about me. He gave me... I considered myself lucky to have lived with... For me, I call him celestial being. To have had the opportunity to share a space with this man for however many years, learning from him how life is, how selfless a human should be, knowing more about myself, because him leaving me made me grow up. All those things that, oh, Jay will handle it, oh, Jay can do, oh, Jay already did it, oh, Jay already did that. It made me look at myself and ask myself, okay, the thing that you thought defines you is not here anymore. Who are you? Who are you? It's so many. So for me, it was mainly lessons learned from his passing. Because I don't know if I'll ever get closure. I don't know if anybody will ever know why God allows their loved ones to go. But as long as I remember that God's thoughts for me are good and not evil, and he loves me to bits, he will not allow something if there is nothing in front that is a part of your destiny that he wants to use to help you, or to groom you, or to raise you to become someone else. And then when I saw how young women and widows were coming to me for help, for advice, I helped set up Young Widows Association. When they were coming to me with their emotional pain and them almost going mad and their depression, conversations that they can't have with people who have not been there. When I look at the people that God is sending me to help, to work with, I'm like, is this one of the reasons? Like,
yes, like, okay, I see it now.
I had to be this, I had to go through this to do this, but you didn't have to take him to teach me to help people. You first still live.
I know that feeling. How would you have learned?
That's how I know that for him to have allowed it, there's still something bigger in all of this that I probably don't know. I just know a little bit of, okay, I can see why, okay, maybe, okay, this is who I have become. But ultimately, I don't know if I will ever have closure for Jay. I don't think so. And I have his children.
So he's in your life.
He's in my life every day.
But the beautiful part for me is the fact that at this point, after going through such a dark season, you can actually still say that all things work together for good. I mean, that's closure.
Yeah, you know.
If you get what I mean.
In our society, if you say it like that outside, they'll say, hey, all things work together for good, so it's good.
So you see that, and honestly, SD, I'll be honest, it's part of the reason why I do this, because
I know.
And I did a video recently to say, I've been through my dark time. I think, I don't know if I shared with you briefly.
Yeah.
That I went through postpartum depression. I was headed towards psychosis. Literally. One morning, I had the height of anxiety. And one morning, I woke up and I almost didn't let my kids go to school. I was that afraid of everything else. Excuse me. And God told me, University, and I got my God, spirit and mind together. If you do not catch yourself, number one, of course, I'm a graduate of psychology. It's like, this is a disorder.
Yeah.
This anxiety you're dealing is a disorder. That's number one. Number two, if you do not catch yourself, you know where you end up. You end up in a mental home.
Oh, yeah.
If you do not start fighting this thing back. And it was that morning that I started using my affirmation. I started speaking. I was walking around my house. You see this thing I said about waking up and screaming? One night, I'm sorry, this is about you, but the opportunity to share.
Fine.
One night, I laid. So that's why I said I could relate with support system. My cousin moved in to live with me. My sister would stay, who is in Canada, would stay till 3 a.m. her time, just because I couldn't sleep. I was on antidepressants for a while. And I remember one of the nights, because I couldn't sleep, and my baby was about a month old at the time. I told my cousin, you know what, just speak positivity over me, because all that was in my head was so negative. That's the reason for anxiety. And I said, I just laid down, I'm like, just speak positivity over me. And then deep within, I felt like God told me this. He says, University, I know, and guess what, this came from a place of being disappointed with God. I trusted God for certain things that didn't happen. I'm like, how do I know when you're going to answer or when you're not going to answer? Like, I was betrayed. And God says, Mbasti, two things. You're either going to choose to trust me, or you're going to believe this lie of the devil that is pushing you in the direction where you do not want to go. Literally, you're losing your mind. So make your choice. But I knew trusting God was tough for me at that time because I felt betrayed. But what choice did I have? And God was just saying, you can trust me. I remember that night, just like you. I got up and I started screaming. I was just walking. I just said, I choose this foolishness that is Christ Jesus. This foolishness, I choose it. Literally, 2 a.m. I was screaming. I choose this foolishness that gives me peace. I choose this foolishness that teaches me to raise my children aright. I chose this foolishness that gives me joy, that gives me light, that gives me... I chose this foolishness that is Jesus. Because, of course, there are certain seasons in your life where you'll not totally understand this Jesus. Or totally understand this God. But you've got to choose to trust. And choose, in quotes, the foolishness. And, you know, it was...
One of the things
go ahead.
One of the things that really killed me the most in losing Jaiye was the fact that I have a disorder that a lot of people don't know. I don't talk about it in public. This is probably the first time that I'm really gonna say it. And I don't know why it's you I'm telling.
HS, I told you, Holy Spirit. It's not me.
So what a lot of people don't know about me. Oh God, I'm gonna say, even my sisters don't know, because when I was diagnosed with it, I didn't tell my family because I didn't know. I didn't want anything to make them panic. So I was diagnosed with social anxiety, which is social phobia, which is the wrongest kind of disorder to have as an entertainer. As someone who is in the entertainment industry, for an actor to have social anxiety as a disorder. Jaiye was the only one who knew at the time. Because
this was as far back as that time. Wow.
I had that before I was 21. The only reason I was able to mask it for this long was because I had a husband who understood what I was going through, because the psychologist at that time told him what to expect, how I would behave, things that would happen, and how he can help me handle it so that it can be fixed before I get to the point where I have to go on medication. So he would help me, because some of the things that was wrong with me, people don't understand. They say, oh, Stella is a snob. You invite her to a party, she'll find a way not to come. When she comes at all, and she makes sure that you see that she has come, before half of the event has finished, she's left. I will go to a place and I can't stay too long because I'm scared that I can't use the bathroom. No matter how clean it is, if it's not my bathroom, I can't use the bathroom. I can go on stage and I'm the boldest person, But remove me from stage and throw me in the crowd. I'm shaking. I'm looking around. Are they looking at me? Are they judging me? Are they? And
oh my goodness.
And I'm in the limelight.
And people don't get it.
They didn't know.
Yes.
They didn't know. And
so when you make certain actions, people do not understand where it is coming from. And they just think, oh, it's her way, like you said. People just tag you.
A lot of people have labeled me with all sorts, and they don't even know what I deal with.
You're dealing with.
So for me to come out every day and encourage people and continue to do all the things, the multiple things that I do, it's years of practice, years of what Jay and I had to tell ourselves every day. He would help me. That's why he would say, we're going out today. I'm taking you to this place today. He went above and beyond, going through his own work and trying to take care of his home, his family, having a wife who is in the public eye, but the public does not even know what his wife deals with mentally. And all the issues that I've had to face, knowing that I'm in an industry where I'm expected to be out there with people, with, but it's a struggle. And a lot of people have said, that we don't even bother inviting Stella to certain things because she will disappoint you. This one, I beg Stella, that one's still there. Nobody they even see him. She acts like she's above us. So when he passed, I was like, okay, God, who will help? Who? But one thing I'm grateful for is that God was my Jay and more. He was he still is my Jay and more, because what a human being cannot do, God has been doing for me. The fact that I'm still like this, I'm saying I can do my work. I raised my daughters. My first daughter is done with university. She's a professional now. My second daughter is in an Ivy League college, Columbia University in New York, on full scholarship. It's God. Like, I look at my life today and I'm like, how? How did we get from that to here? I can't tell you, this is the blueprint to. It's God.
Okay. I feel like doing like a sealer, to be honest, like just like a moment of silence to just take all this in. Stella, thank you. I know we're not done. Thank you. I've been getting in and out of being emotional myself and teary-eyed.
No, stay strong for two of us, please. Stay strong.
God will help me. God will help me because I am trying. I'm trying. So let's move on. I'm trying to move on. You know how it is when they say the spirit of the prophet is what? Subject to the prophet.
Let's try.
So you finished that season of your life. You can attest to the fact that God had helped you. Then you meet someone. I remember watching the interview. I don't know what platform it was, but I know you were speaking about someone who you were with at the time, who you loved. I don't remember the exact words, but something was like, I love more than life. It was an expression of how you know what this person meant to you at the time. And I remember that I personally was excited, of course, with the others on the other end, but it's like, oh, Stella has found love again. Stella has found love again. It was a delight. We loved you. For the people who loved you and saw the heartbreak, I told you 2 days ago, or when we spoke, and I was saying, I still remember the grief on your face in the paper that I saw when you were at the funeral. Like you in black, like I remember what you were. I remember that picture of you and the face, that we see, just like we do in the movies when you're crying or you're grieving, and that grief. But so it was very exciting when we realized that. I mean, you were moving on. You had found love again. It was beautiful. And then, let me let you take it up.
I'm assuming you're talking about the one after Jay?
Yes, that's the one.
So after Jay passed, being an African woman who's also in the entertainment industry, what I was faced with was people from all over putting it in my face and telling me how I would never find someone who was single, who has never been married before, or who doesn't have kids to look at me and my daughters and say, I will marry you. I was faced with people saying, Stella, you will end up being a second wife. Because I was 26 when it happened. I was very young, so nobody expected that I would be alone for the rest of my life. But from their thinking, I have to be a second wife, or I have to be married to someone who already has children all over the place or something. Yeah. And at that time, like I told you, my focus was survival. And as part of what I felt survival was to make sure that my daughters grew up in a stable home. To me then, a complete home is daddy, mommy, and children. I didn't want, because like it or not, whether we say it verbally or not, there's stigma when it comes to, oh, she's a single mom. The first thing they start to think of or ask is, she's a single mom. She come off her husband's house. I mean, she's a baby mama. I mean, what happened? They drive her. Why is she single? And there's some things as a single woman you can't even get in Nigeria that a lot of people don't even talk about, but it's true. So you are. And
it's usually about her first. Sorry, it's usually about what she has done wrong. Like
what did she?
Usually the one.
Yes.
Yes.
So
who's the problem?
The pressure was mounting and mounting, and I had this friend. He was my best friend. He was my go-to at that time, that period of my life.
Right.
I would tell him anything and everything. And of course, when this pressure started coming and people were talking about me and I was, you know, all over the papers and everything, I'm guessing, because I can't speak for him, I'm guessing in his mind, he felt sorry for me. And was like, because he couldn't stand it when I'm in pain. And we're going to a church together. We're both leaders in that particular church on the island. And the church also didn't help matters because they were like, both of you are close. You are doing stuff together.
What's up?
You have to get married. You have to do these things. They started adding pressure. Lo and behold, I came back from a shoot one day. He said, oh, let's meet up for dinner. And I go to dinner with him. And when I entered the place, he asked me to marry him. Elaborate proposal. A lot of our friends there, everybody there, and the spur of the moment of me saying, let these people putting me under pressure just shut up. Let the haters just swallow their words. Let everybody just leave me alone. He was single, never been married, no kids, and in my head I was like,
let them see that it is possible. That kind of thing.
And I said yes.
Wow.
And we got married, and in 8 months, it was over. Wow. It was over in 8 months, not because he was a bad person at all. He was a good man, but we had no business getting married.
Being married. Wow.
We had no business.
Pressure. Pressure.
And succumbing to pressure. Because I wasn't, my head was, I needed someone to shield me. There was the gap. Jaiye had gone, left me in the cold. I needed a physical human being to shield me from all of this. And don't forget, in all of this, I'm working, I'm taking care of my children, and I'm still dealing with social anxiety. So my friend who understood me, who knew what I was going through, would take over from Jaiye, which wasn't a fair burden to put on another human being. That I know. It wasn't fair to expect him to fill in Jaiye's shoes. But at that point, I wasn't thinking about, oh, it's too much burden on him. I was thinking about, he's single.
Self-preservation.
He's my friend. Who better to marry than your friend? Everybody tells you, marry your friend, marry your friend. Hey, my friend don't propose. Well, yeah, no. But the truth is, we had no business being married because some people are better as friends. When you take your relationship, your friendship to another direction that it wasn't meant to be, there's no way it will work out. He was a good man, but it didn't last. And that was done.
That was that.
That was that.
Where did that put you when it came to, you know, facing yourself? Because I mean, you're dealing with all of this. You're dealing with this anxiety and just everything. How were you even able to accept the fact that, okay, this didn't work, I'm going out. So first I lost my husband, I was a widow. Now I'm going to have to be divorced.
So
how did you deal with that?
It was a lot for me because I thought that I knew what depression was after Jaiye passed. Adding this was worse because I lost a very good friend. I mean, we say hello, but everything changed after that. And the person that I would call and would talk and would laugh and would encourage me and advise me, I didn't have that connection with him anymore because the marriage went south. So I went through another bout of depression.
Of losing someone, in quote.
Yeah.
Because that was what it must have felt like.
Yes, that's whether I die, whether on a breakup, now loss.
Yes, now loss. That's it.
So this is second loss.
Second loss.
And it just hit me, and I felt like I'm back to square one. So that robotic feeling of, okay, it's happened, keep going.
Let's go.
The truth is, Basiti, people didn't understand what I had to deal with. So in my depression, in all the things I was going through, don't forget I was still faced with the bashing from media, from people. I would walk out of my house, drive out, and my face is all over the magazines. People calling me all sorts of names. She not stay husband house. She never explained what he killed her first husband. This one, after how many months? Oh, this, oh, that. So not only are you dealing with things internally, with the mental disorder, with different things, you are now having to deal with the public, which made my social anxiety worse because I knew that people had read these things, people had talked about it. So to even go to places.
Because there's the fear of the rejection. It's double.
And looking at people and wondering what they were thinking of me, what they would have said, and all the fake smiles I would see around me. Hey, Stella, how are you? Long time. And you will see it right through them. And in my head, I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. I should go. I should get out of here. They don't like me. They don't like me. So it became me against the world. The world hates me. They don't understand me. They're not patient with me. They can't see what I'm facing. They will just say all the bad things in the world. No, I can't be that bad that you people cannot see that I'm going through something.
That's right.
So at that point, I just closed in. Like, you know what? Just leave people alone. Let them do what they want to do. Let them say what they want to say. So it became me, my family, and my God. And I was just cutting people off like, you know what? I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with fake people. I can't deal with, judgmental people. I can't. Let me just be by myself because it's easier for me.
Which, if I'll be honest, that was, if I'm going to judge that, I'll say that was a period of growth for you too.
Yeah.
Even being able to deal with your anxiety.
Yes.
Or in quote, what they'll call like a disorder, psychologically.
Yeah.
Because usually social anxiety or any kind of anxiety is the fear of losing, in quote, whether it's losing, especially when it has to do with a social disorder. It's acceptance.
Yes.
It's a desire to gain acceptance. It has to do a lot with that. So the fact that you come to the point where you do not even care and you're like, make una dey go, whatever, that's growth.
Oh, yeah.
That's a way of healing. That's a way of healing too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's how it went on.
That's how it went on.
During this period, you had relocated, yeah?
No.
Was it the cause of this, or you were still in Nigeria at the time?
I was in Nigeria at the time. I was in Lagos.
Yeah. You were, okay. Yeah. So it became work and life and just moving on until your third, I would say third open, like the one we know, love relationship that was made public. Yeah. So let's go into that.
So this last one, like I told you, I'm not going to go into details because there's really no point. I would talk about it from my point of view.
Yes.
One thing that I learned from this one, and which I'm going to say to everyone, don't make decisions in your low moments, in your desperation to heal, to finally say, okay, you know, I'm good now. Don't force things, don't preempt things. Go through what you're going to deal with it and process it and heal from it before you get into something without asking enough questions, without doing enough investigation to know what you're getting into or what you're dealing with, you know. I also learned that no human, because this was a 10-year thing. This whole thing was a 10-year thing. And it has taken me this amount of time from going to taking courses, learning, doing, you know, programs to improve my mind and my own business, to understand that, to understand that no human being can complete you. No human being can complete you.
No human being can complete you.
When they say, oh, he completes in life.
Worthy of note.
No human, you are complete with God in you. You're already a complete human being. You complement another human being.
That's right.
You are a support to another human being. You are doing this already difficult life together. That's how it's supposed to be. So don't be desperate in jumping into something without knowing that you are complete by yourself.
Yeah.
1. Number 2, let God give you a release that this is good for you or this is right for you. Yeah? Let God give you a release. Because when we pray, we pray and we ask God, and God confirmed it, that this is the right person. This is the right thing. No. Most times God did not sanction it, but we heard what we wanted to hear.
That's right.
Because God is not an author of confusion. God will not sanction something and tell you this is good for you, and then let you go in and find out that this is really bad for you.
Bad for you.
So, when you pray because before you get into a lifelong institution like marriage,
commitment,
ask God. And when he gives you the release, you know, because the honest truth is, as human beings, when we create our own answers, we did not deep down say, hey, God will answer after, but this one, I'm feeling good about it. Let me move.
Yeah, exactly. True. Very true.
Number 3, every human being sees red flags. Like it or not, we just choose to ignore it because of what we feel we want, what we feel will make us happy. When you see those red flags, please don't ignore it. When you finally enter and you ignore it, when you enter, don't get stuck in it. Because if you get stuck in it, then you will ask yourself, why did I get stuck in this? And I didn't realize that this was the wrong place for me, so I can get out. I had to answer that question for me to know what part I played in all of this. And the part that I played in all of this is getting stuck in it because of my disorder. For some people, it's their backstory.
Yeah.
For some people, it's what they were used to seeing as children from their parents or from their surroundings.
The norm, in quote, yeah.
It's normal for them to be in certain situations and certain relationships. So it's okay for them. But for me, it was my social anxiety of, I can't start over again. I can't do this again. People already hate me. They've already said all sorts of things about me. They've said that I did this, I stole this, I did that. Which mouth I want to talk, say, I'm dying here, or let me come out. I can't even start dating again. To go on a date with someone, that is anxiety for me. To wear clothes, say I'm going to see man. They don't know me in Basiti. People think I'm this, I like man. Stella, they follow people. Husband, Stella, they follow. They don't know how hard it is for me to actually dress up and sit with a man and start talking, to start smiling and get to know each other. They don't know me. So that was my issue. Why I got stuck in there was because of the issue that I had. Yes. Is that number 3 or be number 4?
Number 3, I think. Yes, 3. Yeah.
Number 4. When you see traces and a pattern from someone else, look into it. When you see a pattern of things that you know of the person, look into it.
Don't ignore.
Don't think, oh, because it's me, it'll be different. Because it's me, it'll be special. No. And then number 5 for me.
Yes.
When you think you're doing this for the children, for the sake of the children, let me pay attention to your children. Pay attention to their mood. Pay attention to how they feel, because what you don't see, because you're in the middle, they see. Pay attention. That's why my kids are my best friends. That's why we can talk about anything and everything. Because one day they will ask you, who sent you to do this thing for us? Because we were wondering why you are still stuck. Look into that. And then finally, know yourself. Know yourself. Know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are and identify your purpose, because when it comes to unions, purposes have to align.
Yes, I agree.
That's the basis of what marriage is for.
I agree.
Your purposes have to align. That's how you build a future together.
Right.
But if you don't know your purpose, if you don't know your own purpose, you don't know who is going to align with yours, because you don't know yours in the first place.
Exactly.
So know yourself. Love yourself enough to know. Identity crisis, thank you. That's one of the things that kill us. Love yourself enough to know that no human being should have power over you. I've been saying, for the past 3 years, I've been saying to women, every conference that I speak at, take your power back. No human being has a right to control your emotions, your psychological state, your whole life in totality, and you're dependent on another human being. No, because when it goes off, you have to remember who you are, get out of whatever funk you're in, and move on.
Move on. So
this time, there was no room for, I'm depressed. Oh God, why me? No. I've grown.
You opened the door and walked out. Like, I'm not going to take this.
When it happened, one of my mentors said to me, do you know that God has opened the door of the prison that you have put yourself in? Prison, not physical prison, no. Prison here.
Mental prison.
God has opened the door. All you have to do is walk out. Sitting down there and crying and complaining, oh, this happened to me again. Oh, they will laugh at me, or they will talk about you. They will talk about you, whether you do good or bad. So that one of sitting down in there and crying is the prison of your mind. And when my mentor said to me, come out, the door is open. Come out and see the world. See what God has in store for you. See the future you have ahead of you. See the purpose that you have not finished fulfilling. You want to stay in that prison. Forget that depression and step out. Because this is who you are and this is whose you are. And I looked at myself in the mirror and said, Stella. So this affirmation thing for the first time, because before when people they tell me affirmation, I say, I beg all the motivational talk. I don't want to. But for the first time,
teach you. You must affirm.
For the first time, I would look at myself in the mirror. Stella, you find die. You are to die for Jesus. Jesus, the richest, the most handsome, the most everything, to come down here to die for me. I'm to die for. Who are you?
Exactly.
Stella, you are intelligent. You are brave. You are strong. You are resourceful. Come on now, get out there and show them who you are. Now, so every morning, me and my mirror, we are best friends. Oh boy. This is it. I wake up, I pray. When I go into the bathroom, hey, bestie, I'm talking to myself in the mirror. You are fine. Try. See you. I will hype myself. So that when I come out, I don't need validation. I don't need anybody to remind me of who I am. I'm not ashamed. I love myself. I love my body. I love my mind. I love my family. I love my God. I love my job. What's it again I define? Come on. Nah.
Sorry, I'm good. Let me even take you back a little, just so I don't keep too many things that I want to just highlight on. When you shared about, when you think about the children, And you see, one thing I tell people now when I get to counsel them is, or when I even get to speak on the Pathfinder, I say, are you truly doing it for the children? If you look at it closely, your reasons are very selfish.
Yep.
It's the way that you have accepted, Esty, that these were your reasons.
Yeah.
Social anxiety. There were other things. They were, the children are usually like a cover-up. They are like a valid reason.
You're holding on to them,
like,
as
you know. But if you look at it closely, it's the stigma you are avoiding. It's the name calling.
Yep.
It is because in your life you never thought that you get married and you live in
Yep.
marriage. So no. I've not seen this in my future. So I'm here, and you are being selfish at the expense of other people, which includes your children, especially.
Yeah.
Because it never, like you said, at the end of the day, they'll turn out to say, you stayed there, you damaged us by staying. That's what you did.
Yeah.
So you weren't staying for us, you know. And then the second thing, you know, just talking about affirming, looking at yourself in the mirror, speaking. Another thing I say is, honestly, if you honor God in your life, there would be certain ways that you will not accept for people to treat you.
Oh, yeah.
If you have regard for God, you will not allow people to treat you. It's not selfishness. If you have regard for God that made you, that loves you, that paid the price for you, that has made this sacrifice, you will not allow people to treat you a certain way.
When I hear people, when, you know, I do this Ask Stella sometimes on Saturdays.
Yes.
People send me messages, and I hear people say, I've been married to this man for 5-10 years. I have children for him. But ma, this man is beating me. I don't know what to do. I get confused. I'm like, you don't know what to do. You want me to tell you what to do, that no man has a right to be beating you, especially because of the fact that you have children for him. And then in his anger, he looks at you, full-bodied woman like you that he married, promised to honor and love and defend and protect. Then he uses his hands and violates you, beats you up, and you're asking me what to do. Nobody. That's why when my mom used to tell me, if you don't allow it, if you don't allow people to do certain things to you, they won't. Yeah. She's the one that taught me this analogy. When this whole thing started coming out on the media, husband snatcher. And I called my mom before my mom died. Because she was my mom was my heart, my good friend.
Sorry.
I would tell her, we would talk about things like this. Thank you. We would talk about things like this. And I said to her, you don't hear the name way that they call me.
They call your pikin.
She said waiting because she doesn't care about all these things. She said, I said, oh, they call me husband snatcher. He said, you strong, go. You go another person's house, go lift man, carry put for your neck, skip him, run.
As turn that into some positivity, Abby.
Apparently, I'm Hokogan. I can carry somebody and run and steal a whole human being. Then she said to me, what is my name? I said, Maria. That's my mom. She said, what is my name? I said, Maria. She said, okay, if I'm walking through the marketplace and somebody starts to scream, Victoria, Victoria, would I turn around and answer? It's not me they are calling. My name is Maria, not Victoria. I said, you are right. She said, okay. So you do not accept a name that is not your own. You can't. You cannot accept a name that is not your own. If it is not the name that God gave you, it's not the name that we gave you. It is not who you are. Why would you allow people to call you a name and you let it fester and hurt you and you start reacting?
When you're the one who knows your journey really, and people would never even care. They don't even want to know, to be honest. They just want to say, you know your process, you know your journey. I'm not talking about this because I remember the last video you did, the one that trended about the last Idom cast, you know, that video that, you know, where look, life is quite interesting. Because, I mean, when you're sharing things to inspire people, to make a certain impact, make them see that you're not alone in your journey, like it's life, somebody else is picking it to just do whatever it is they want. It's the same way that you poured your heart out here, Stella.
People will see,
and there will still be somebody who would still come and look for something.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good time for me to say one thing that I've learned over time. People who are judgmental actually deal with a lot of self-guilt.
They have problems.
A lot of self-guilt. Because they also deal so much with their imperfections.
Yes.
And with the mentality that they feel like everything is supposed to be perfect. And they know that they cannot be perfect, but they judge others. And so because they see that them too are falling short, they deal with a lot of self-guilt. Yeah. It's a pity, honestly. It's
and they use you as most of the time, these people who come
like a cushion.
Yes, they use you as
to say, oh, I'm not alone. Like
escape route. Well, it's not me they're talking about, it's her they're talking about. So all the things that are pent up, even when they don't know you, they are blasting, but they forget that after coming to say all kinds of crap on somebody's page or comment or stuff like that, you go back and face your problem. Your problem is still waiting for you. So what they do is every day, so they want to numb themselves from their own issues. So that's when they become trolls. Every day they are looking for quick fixes. Who would I attack? Who would I hate? Who would I pour venom on? How long will it last? How long will it last?
Let's think about where you are now, because now this person is not the person that was that 21-year-old or the 26-year-old or the one, you know, this is not that person. This is someone who has gone through a journey and a process. And I know, of course, till you die, you were becoming. I don't think you ever get to the point where you stop becoming. Yeah. But you have become reasonably, as in, when I saw that video, I'm like, okay, how would this go? And you said like somebody's like, that is like, not today. You know, how are you now? How do you deal with these things? How are you ready to deal with the other things that will come, because they will come?
Oh yeah. What
do you do?
Yeah.
Yes.
What I spend the best of my time doing in my process of healing and processing all of this and letting a lot of things go. And I learned more about myself. Like I told you, I took a lot of courses. I'm certified in some things that I never thought I would study. And my eyes have opened to the possibilities of life, the importance of life, what's more important to me. And that's why when people look at me, Stella, you're still young, you're still fine, you're still this. I said, that's not true to me. I said, peace of mind. Peace of mind, not because I don't have challenges. I face challenges like every other normal
on a daily.
But peace of mind because I'm at a place now where I know that I can only do what I can do and God will handle the rest. Nothing more. There's no need to force over things that you can't control. There's no need to force anything, any relationship, any friendship, anything that is not working. Don't force it, let it go. Pray for everyone. You know, I wake up in the morning and I'm at peace with myself. And the reason why I'm at peace with myself is because I ask myself every day, what does God feel about me? God says I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm okay. I'm okay with myself. I have talent. I have beauty. I have intelligence. God has blessed us with everything we need. It is hard to apply it and to access His grace and His favor.
That's right.
How I have learned to access God's grace and favor is by thanking Him every day, in spirit and in truth. So now, I thank Him more than I ask Him. Because He knows what I need. I would tell Him, but I don't dwell on it. I just start thanking Him in advance. So I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with where I am. I love what I'm doing. I mean, I want more money, but money will come.
Amen.
Money will come. Basiti, I'm going to take you with me to open the door.
Let's go there.
But
let's be going. I heard the bell.
Yes. Let me let her in.
Okay. No problem.
I'm doing a live. Come in. She's opening her mouth like, what have I just done?
Okay.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as I was saying, I'm at a place now where Nothing can make me feel, oh no, I don't have this, I don't have that. I feel like everything I have now is what I need. That's what gives me the peace. Everything I have now is what I need. So I'm more focused on my needs than my wants. If you're focused on what you want, you will never have peace. You will be depressed. You'll be angry. But what I need, because God has assured me that everything I need, He has given me.
Exactly.
Everything I need from here. Go ahead. Sorry.
Because sometimes we feel like we truly need them and we don't want them. Yeah. But I think the way to I remember I made a video as well to say one thing I've realized with my own process too, experience, is that gratitude is a formula. It's not just a command. You know, people say, just give thanks, just be grateful. It's actually a formula.
It is.
As you remain in gratitude, it takes you out of the darkness.
Yeah.
It has a way of putting you into perspective as God would want it to be.
Here's how I learn. I look at people who have achieved something that I like. I look at their lifestyle and what it is that they do. And you find that is the simplest aspect of their strategy that works wonders. I look at, because in the past I looked at Oprah and I looked at Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
I read their books, I read their stories, I've watched all their interviews. And the one thing that was a running thread in everything that they've said was gratitude. Gratitude. I'm like,
what it is.
Excuse me?
With everybody up there, it is what it is.
See, I'm expecting one massive blueprint of this, going here and doing this, ensuring this. It's gratitude. They always talk about it. And that's how it started.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, God, if this is the way it is, I will be grateful for
I'm
everything.
gonna do it.
No matter. Last night, when I was going to bed, I was so tired. And for some reason, I was cold. I think my central cooling was too cold. And then I turned it down, and then I went lay down on my bed and put my duvet over me. Do you know, Mbasiti, that I started saying, hey, Baba God, thank you for good bed and good duvet. I'm just grateful that I can lie down on this bed. Cover myself. To some people, they're like, are you mad? Everybody has bed. I'm like, no.
What is there to be thankful for?
I've seen people lying down on cardboard paper, even in America. Come rain, come shine, no matter who's in there, out there. I'm not going to sit here and feel, oh, Stella Damasus, is it bed that's shocking me? Yes, it's bed that's shocking me. Is it duvet that is duvet?
It's duvet.
For the tiniest of things.
That's right. That's right.
That's how I find peace. That's where I am today.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. And let me just ask, with the social anxiety, how's that? At this point,
I'm much better. I'm much better.
Okay.
I probably will go for an event if the organizers of the event invite me because they need me to do something.
Okay.
If they need me to be a guest, you know, I have to psych myself and prepare myself that, okay, I'm going to go in there and be a guest, and this is why I'm coming to support you. So my focus when I'm sitting down there is, I'm here for you, I'm here for you, I'm here for you. I have to repeat that to myself.
Do you get? Yes.
I just don't dress up and say, hey, there's a show happening, I'm just going to go. I'm going to buy tickets and go. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
But you've come along.
I'm beginning to, I go and support my friends. I go and do things that I'm asked to do. And then when it comes to my work, as long as I'm the one working or doing the talking and all that, I don't have problem. But to be in a place where I will have to socialize and start conversations and, hey, hi, my name is... You have killed me.
They should wait first.
Yeah. And now I'm better with phone calls. I'm better with, because in the past, with my social anxiety, I would look at my phone. I would want to talk to someone. I would rehearse what I want to say in my head. And in my head, I've had that conversation. But to pick up the phone and say, hey, how now, and all that. So that's why, for me, friendship was very different. There are very few people who understood what I was dealing with and who know that Stella loved me. Yeah, she like me. She cares for me.
She has me.
She might not talk to me every day, but she has me in her mind and her heart.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes I require prompting, and those who don't understand will go, "Hey, it's as if this friendship is one-sided. I'm the only one calling you. You don't call me back." And at that point, I know, okay, you still don't get it. But it's okay. We don't have to argue about this. I don't struggle or argue, or, you know. So there are few people in my life who understand that I'm different.
Right.
Who know, they don't even, most of them don't even know that there's a diagnosed disorder like social anxiety, but they just know that I don't mean any harm. I'm not snubbing you. This is just something that is what Stella would do, and she's not a bad person.
Yes.
But I thank God that over the years, I've been able to get to the point where I can now pick my phone and call without prompting. I can text. You know, I can leave a voice note, which means that people who know me, they'll tell you I do more voice notes than call.
I remember.
We spoke for the first time 2 days
ago.
You see?
Yeah, actually, yes. Who knows? Maybe I fall in that category without knowing.
We're done now.
People say the same things to me, but it is well. I won't lie. Yeah.
But I'm in a better place now. I'm able to do the things I want to do without fear of, oh, what would they say? Would they like it? Would they accept it?
That's right.
I just do what I want to do.
That's amazing. Yeah. Self-acceptance. Yeah. I think acceptance is how to sum it all up. Acceptance. Acceptance.
My friend is like, my friend who just came is just like, I don't want to disgrace you.
Hi, friend. There you go. Let's talk about your book. So we're winding down.
She's kneeling down to beg.
She's there. She's there. She's in the study.
Her name is Queen Teddy. If you people know Queen Teddy, you will know why.
Let me see Queen Teddy. Let me see Queen Teddy. Please, Queen Teddy, let's say hi. We're not going to get you to dance. We will not get you to dance.
Yes.
You're not going to dance. Just say hi.
No, she's not ready.
Okay.
She's baby.
Okay, much love to you, Queen Teddy. Much love. Good to know you're there.
You too.
She said you too. Okay, thank you. And love to the twins, by the way. So
they know you.
Yeah.
You can't disgrace.
We know you.
You can't disgrace us. They know you already.
Let's hear about your book. Tell us about your book and the inspiration behind it and how we can get it, of course. Yes, please.
Mama is a girl. Coincidentally, it was Queen Teddy who hosted my book launch.
Nice.
So I wrote this book in 2016. When I was in Nigeria.
2016, wow.
Yes. Yes, it took me about 7 years to get it out. When I was in Nigeria before I relocated, I was working with different women's organizations like Project Alert, who shelter victims of domestic violence, and some other organizations across Africa. So I found myself traveling a lot to different parts of Africa. And in some of our outreach programs, I would sit with some of these women and they would tell me their stories. So many stories that, like, I could not believe that human beings were going through these things, you know, at that time. And so, and as a kid, I'd always wanted to be an author. My parents knew. Even Jaiye would tell me, don't worry, one day you'll write your book. Because Jaiye reads like mad. He had a whole library. Wow. Anyway, so I always wanted to write a book, but I thought that the book that I would write would probably be a love story or something. Because in Nollywood, they know me as I'm doing drama, I'm in love, then I become a victim and I will cry, you know. So
do you understand?
I know. So
yes.
I thought I would write a love story. So I didn't think about writing. But one day in 2016, I said, you know what, it's time to write this book. But when I sat down and I wanted to start writing or putting like chapters and stuff together. It wasn't love story that was coming. My spirit just kept pushing me and telling me, you need to talk about these things that are happening to women in Africa. You need to write about it. And that's how Mama Is a Girl started. So I merged their stories into one person. So I told their stories through the life of one person, my lead character. Nice. And her journey from the day she was born, and they heard the words, Mama Is a Girl. That was the beginning of her problems. But the book is not all the way to the end sad. There's a part of redemption, something that I'm trying to say one person can change the course of a community's life for the better, you know, and all of that. So the journey there will take you on, you know how Black Panther and Wakanda took you on a particular journey. This takes you on a journey that you will ask, and a lot of women who have been reading it are relating to a lot of things in here, and they're
African women, right?
Yes, African women, and even the foreigners that are reading it, friends of my sisters and all, they're like, I did not know.
Enlightening.
I had no idea. How can I help? How can I support? Because when I did the book, I did it for my foundation. I want to use it to raise funds for the Stella Damasus Art Foundation to do the work that we've been doing. Because we've had the foundation since 2010, and I've been funding it myself, me and my siblings. So we've been doing a lot of work. You know, I actually have a small documentary on that. But so I wrote it, and then I was trying to release it. It was as if the devil was fighting me at every turn for years. I would try this, it won't work. I would try one editor, it won't work. I would try one publisher, it won't work. Irrelevant things were just coming up to mess it all up. And then 3 years ago, I had this vision to register my company in America, another company in America, Adiva Networks, and we were into media publishing and consulting. And then I started publishing Adiva magazine. I don't know if you see it.
Yes, I've seen Adiva.
Yeah, I've been publishing the magazine for about 3 years now. And in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. I know I publish magazines, but my book is ready. My book is ready. I've finished the manuscript since 2016. Like, why am I still here? The cover art was made by a family member. She drew this. Everything is done, edited, ready to go. Why am I holding back? And I'm like, instead of me to be looking for, I have a company that does publishing, right? Let's publish this. Let's see how we can go. Of course, the enemy continued to fight, but at the end of the day, God prevailed, and I have the book here. Here we are. It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Yes.
Once you try Mama, It's a Girl, you will see it. There's the ebook, the hardcover, and the paperback. I'm working on the audiobook now. And God has done it. I'm finally an author, and yes.
Congratulations, and everything else will come to pass. Thank you so much, Stella. I mean, this is 1 hour 30 minutes. Like we started 20 minutes ago. Thank you so much. I'm a little scared. I don't think you go live a number of times. This won't go off, Abby. It won't.
Just pray that
it doesn't go off anymore.
It doesn't go off, but you just have to make sure it doesn't get to 2 hours so you can post it.
I beg. Okay, so I just wanted to be sure because I cannot lose this. I can't lose it. Okay, so I was going to ask if anybody had questions, just quick questions. Maybe like 3 questions. Let's just quickly get to them and take them. So please, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. Stella is reading 3 quick questions, okay, as quickly as we can take them. And then we will move from there. Oh, I'm saying congratulations. I'm not saying questions. Bravo. Okay, so just give final words. If I say any question, I'll take it. If I say any question,
my final words.
Draw your attention to it. So just give final words, yes.
Know yourself.
Know yourself.
Don't suffer from identity crisis. Know who you are. Okay? When you know who you are, you know your purpose. Then you know what you're focused on. And then nobody will treat you the way you don't want to be treated because you know who you are and what you're worth. Look, nobody will tell you or make you feel like, oh, you're worth this, you're worth that. Some people say it, but they don't know the enormity of what that means. Only you do, because you're the one that God gave. God gave you.
That's right.
Everything that's within you that you know, now you know. Don't depend on anyone outside of you to make you know who you are. Don't, according to my mom, don't respond to a name that is not yours. Focus on what's important.
Don't respond to a name. I'm taking that. That's right.
Especially to women, you are worth it. Regardless of what your challenges are, what you face, what your body looks like now, what changes you're experiencing, you're growing older, things are happening. You're not being this, you are worth it. The day you believe that, you accept that, your whole mood and your countenance will change. It will change, and nobody can. And then one last thing, my motto every day, I am selfish with my peace of mind. I repeat it every day. I am selfish with my peace of mind. Anything that threatens my peace of mind, I will remove it. Person, thing, anything, I will move you out. Because that's all I have. If I'm not at peace, I'm done.
That's it. That's it. With joy shall you draw from the wells of salvation. There is hardly, you cannot draw from that well of what God has given if you lose your joy. Yeah. Joy is the, what's that thing you used to draw from the well? In Hausa, they call it buga. In English, I do not know. Shasha, okay. It's in, to draw water from well. Yes. That thing. That's, joy is what you use. So the moment your joy is tampered with, you can hardly get anything that comes with, that comes with the gifts that God has given you of health, prosperity, life, love. It's hard. So
it's the foundation of everything.
Preserving your joy. I agree. So this question says, what's the best advice you would give to a widow right now?
Just know that God is your husband. There is nothing that an earthly man will give or do for you that God cannot do and more. Don't blame yourself, because I know there are different stages of grief. But when it happens, don't see it as, oh, maybe if I had, don't blame yourself for it. Instead, understand who you are in this process without that Mrs. title tied to you, without that husband tied to you. What kind of woman are you now? I know the names that people call me now. You are brave, you are strong, you are this, you are that.
Right.
But it took a process. So the first thing is, who are you now as your own person? And then secondly, you have a husband, a heavenly husband, who will go above and beyond. Remove that, replace that pain with trust. Trust is not easy. So don't think I'm saying go from bad to good. No. Trust is not easy. But let your struggle be a sensible struggle.
Exactly.
Yes. Let your struggle be trusting in God. Not, hey, my husband, it won't bring him back. So have that struggle of trusting God when you think he allowed this, but trusting him. But if you focus on that struggle, at the end of the day, you will succeed. And when you succeed in trusting God, trust me, the pain does not go away, but time will help you deal with it better.
That's right. That's right. Because let me just say, not trusting, what's staying in the place of wallowing in your emotion does to you is it takes away hope. So hope deferred makes the heart sick. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, but trust gives you that opening. It might not be so strong at the beginning, but gradually it kind of gives you some level of hope to know, okay, I can trust. Instead of, no, this is all there is, you know. So okay, so sometimes I feel like you were the only one who believes in yourself, and yet again it's like your belief is hanging on a thread. How do you keep believing even when you're crawling?
There's no magic pill to believing in yourself. I just know that that's all I got. If I don't believe in myself, there's no way I can give off anything for people to believe in me. Because no man is an island. People have to believe in you to give you a chance, to patronize you, to do business with you, to come around you, to support you. But they will not believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. So for me, at the back of my head, I always think, this is all I have. Believing in myself is all I have. It is who I am. If I don't, we give ourselves choices. We play the victim a lot to our own detriment, which makes me laugh. Oh, I'm not. We negatively
this person doesn't support.
We talk down. So I like to talk good to myself and about myself and believe it. I don't want to believe anything else. So it's a choice. There's nobody that will tell you this is a formula to believe in yourself. No, not lie. You have to make that choice. The way you choose your partner, the way you choose the dress you want to buy, the way you choose what you want to eat, choose to believe in yourself and stick to it. That's it.
Not easy, but
and keep going. Thank you. I think I should stop here. There are a number of questions, go to Ask Stella. Okay? If you have any questions.
Share the email so they can send you email. I know that you have an email for that, right?
Yeah, it is info at Stella Damasus, .com.
Thank you, Levan Essie. This person has been talking about it. Everyone to go by it. Thank you. Okay, so
my people are here, so they're always supporting me.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Esty. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you. Please, everyone, say thank you to Stella for you and I, because this is not just about me. It's about you and I. If this has inspired you some way, has answered any question for you in some way, has just been a light in the midst of some darkness some way, please. If this was worth it, make her feel like it was worth it. Being this vulnerable, opening up, sharing all that she did, please just come with your thank yous and your love and everything and just pour it all out. What's up with music though?
Music?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I doesn't know. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not.
I get it. It's not for the now. For this
not now.
Phase.
I have things that I've planned out for the year that I have to accomplish. So music will probably be after this year.
It's coming. She waits. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. They most likely have gotten the email. Yeah, we all have it. So that's Stella Damasus. Info at StellaDamasus.com. So they go there and then they find they get right. Is there an Ask Stella at Gmail?
Yeah, so if they send the email to info at StellaDamasus.com, I deal with it when I'm doing Ask Stella.
I see.
Yeah, but I don't call anybody's name. It's always anonymous, so they don't know it's you. But I will deal with it. Yeah.
Then
when it comes to, because there are questions around purpose and a lot of things. So
all day.
In case Stella gets overwhelmed, you can send. I'm a psychologist. I'm a counselor as well, so you can make me a plan B. But yes, you can leave me a DM and we'll take it up from there, right?
And I will also send some people your way because there are a lot of people going through some things in Nigeria. I'd rather they talk to, because I'm too far. You know how people, they don't like virtual stuff like that.
I'm here. I'm right here. I'm here for it. This is the purpose. This is my life, you know. Thank you. God bless you. See you around. I don't know how to take you off from. I think I do. Oh no.
All I have to do is.
I always have it.
Pardon? I'll just leave so that you can continue.
Because yes. I don't want to.
It's fine. All right, bye guys.
God bless you. Have a great remaining part of the day. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Mwah. Bye. Okay, fam. How was that? How was that? How was that? How was that? My heart is so full. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for this would I say vision or desire or instruction, and the obedience of it. This instruction that just came with me laying in my bed one day to just begin I Overcame, and I'm glad about what it is doing and the people that God is actually bringing on this platform. I can only be thankful to God. I'm telling you, that's nothing of ambassador. That is when you know that you're walking in your calling, and I'm so glad. Thank you to everyone who stayed for the 1 hour and almost 2 hours, literally, to be here. Next week, I'm back with Ask the Pathfinder. I guess every Wednesday I get to do something on the Pathfinder show. So we have a new page. It's called the Pathfinder Official. That's at the Pathfinder Official. It's a growing page. It still has less than 100 followers, but I'm moving everything there. For the new followers that have come, you're welcome from Stella's page. My name is Ambassador Jaiye. I'm the Pathfinder. I'm a counselor. I'm also a media personality. So I have a show that I do called the Pathfinder. And I share true stories. People send me their stories. With their permission, I get to share. I also you get to book for counseling sessions, and we can get to talk. I believe that I'm gifted with the gift of counsel, and that's my life. That's what I've been called to do. And yes, I can grant you clarity on your path through life. I promise. I assure you. God helping me, I can. I will put some light on the dark patches of your journey. Trust me on that. Okay, see you around. I'll keep sharing my video. If this was profound for you, do well to share. Share however you would. I'll be dropping clips when I do that. Please share with other people, all right? And just pull them into the light that you have enjoyed today. God bless you. I love you. Thank you for doing this with me. Have a great, great evening. Keep walking in kindness. Remain in love. And above all, be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. You deserve it. You are God. You are light. You are truth. And God does not know ugly. And if he made you and put you here and put his love on you, then you are worth it. Like Stella says, you are worth it. You are worth it. Okay? So respect that God factor within you. All right? God bless you. See you around. Cheers.